Hey guys, I don't know if you've been gosh, I don't know if you guys been like keeping keeping up with the videos that I've been putting up about what's going on kind of behind the scenes or in the background. It would be very interesting if you do or if you have, because it's kind of like this is so trippy. Oh, my grandma who passed away a while ago, loved murder mysteries, loved them. Yeah, and I was always like, okay, well, to each his own, you know. But now it's like making so much sense why she was. Um, okay, so some of you are wondering what in the world is going on with my channel. Um, so I'll give you like I'll I'll do my best to kind of bring you up to speed as to what's been going on from my perspective. And this is all opinion. It's all perhaps surmising, thinking out loud, just trying to figure shit out. Um, let me start with about 2 years ago. Well, I've been a what do you call? I'm kind of like a life coach. It's what do I call myself? A spiritual teacher, intuitive spiritual teacher. Okay. So we begin there that I've had this business for quite a while. I've started over a period of time building it up. Started from the ground. Nobody knew me, you know, got more and more people to follow. Then it was all over the world. And then I got a break at the lighthouse and became well known, and just, the typical honest beginning. Not somebody who's, just, I don't know, whatever. So it's been a slow go, but it's been very fulfilling for me because I always wanted to have a job that I do from home where I can help people and get paid to do that. So that's like been my dream, right? Aside from doing stuff with animals and some cool stuff like that, right? So, um, then, um, then God started to, because, as an intuitive, you talk to God, you talk to spirits, you talk to people who've passed away, all kinds of things, right? So I was really into religion at a certain time. So I wanted to see what God really is. And I've been enlightened like 3 times now. All that enlightened means is the facade of the personality is gone, and you realize that you are the beingness, the isness within us, the consciousness, the aliveness in our bodies. We're that. We're not the meat suit. We're not the Amy or the Jim or whatever you are. You know, we're not these people. We're here temporarily doing this, kind of playing this out, but really we're ultimately like these we are a piece of God. We're a piece of God, of His consciousness. And the more quiet our minds are and the more present we are, the more we inhabit, we allow God to be present in our bodies, which fills us with the kingdom of God, which is God's consciousness within us, right? And then the more He operates through us, it's like the fingers of a puppet. The more He's able to operate through us, the more we are in the will of God, doing God's will on this earth. Okay. In other words, if you're not present, you're not doing God's work. I mean, you could be like asking intuitively, should I do this? Should I get this job and stuff like that? But it's very much a la carte. It's not like the full ambiance and the full meal of God, right? So the idea is to drop the ego completely, drop all thoughts, and just become one with God. And then He just tells you everything to do, right? So that's how we were born to be. That's how we were all born to be. Nobody's special, like we should all get back to that. That's what the Great Awakening is. We should all be like Yeshua. I mean, that's how God created us to be. But the Nefarians, for a very long time, out thousands of years, have been trying to throw us off that track because we're very powerful the way that God created us. Very powerful. And we can manifest things very easily, and everything goes our way. And it's really quite magical, and it's really synchronistic and beautiful and amazing and magical when you're totally aligned with God like that in that way. Um, and they also say, do all things in love. That means love is that energy of being one with God. Okay, that's love. All right. Having said all of that, at some point, God said that I was some kind of prophet. Of course, I laughed and was like, "What are you talking about?" But he gave me a lot, and which I shared with my audience back at that time. He gave me a lot of synchronicities, like inundated me with information that kept confirming it and confirming it and confirming it. I was not looking for it, nor did I want that target on me. And I also thought it was, I didn't want to like, prophesy and say things that were going to happen in the future. Actually, I was afraid of the future. I was afraid of all the stuff they talked about for so long, all the predictions of everything going in under the water and all these catastrophes and comets. And, I was scared of all that. I was just like, I don't foretell stuff, I don't want to do that. And he's like, no, no, that's not what a prophet is. When I looked it up in a dictionary, a prophet is speaking the words of God. So when you're living the will of God, when God is inhabiting your body to whatever percentage, when you're enlightened, you're 100%. Like he is completely taking over you. You're not God, but he has his whole hand in you and he's operating you completely. Okay. So it's God operating you. It's not Amy or it's not you, the person with the name. Okay. So, so basically, we're all varying degrees of having the will of God, living the will of God within us. And this is where churches have a tremendous disservice. I mean, they're just so misled that they think that reading the Bible is going to be the thing that makes them close to God. It's not even close. And they don't even know what the kingdom of God is. They actually think it's a place in the clouds or something. They think it's a physical place or something. Anyway, we're not going to go down that road. So basically, as I've gone along, just like many of you, I've woken up to a lot of the stuff in the background that, some lies that were told for a long time to keep us stupid and to keep us dumbed down and to keep us, ignorant, basically. So I started to, I was all about back in the day, I was all about true love. Then, as I started to learn some of these things that were geared toward manipulating the population and harming us, I decided to start talking about those types of things because I talk about life. That's what I do. I talk about life and how it works and how to best cope with things and I'm a life coach. That's what I do. So of course I'm going to talk about life. And when I learned about some of these things that were true, that were being covered up by being called conspiracy theories and stuff. And you actually, when you do the research on it, it's actually fact. It's not, that they made that term up just to throw people off the scent. The CIA made that up. So, a long time ago, back when JFK was killed or whatever. So I don't know all the history. That's why I say, oh, whatever. So, basically, so I started to talk about some truths on the channel. And then I started to be basically stalked by Satanists because they were like, oh, somebody's talking about us and they're talking about like what we're doing. And I had like this stalker neighbor who was just doing weird things, doing the thing where they stand there and stare at you with their arms I don't know why they do that. They're weirdos. I don't know. They're just weird. And it wasn't at all scary. It was very annoying though. Very annoying. And in that day, I just thought it was that guy. I actually didn't know that it was because of the stuff I was talking about. I didn't put two and two together yet. That was back in Boulder. And then I had this really weird thing happen with my brother who completely shocked me because I thought he was a totally different person. And I opened my arms and my heart up to him completely, only to get completely, totally duped. He turned out to be somebody I was, yeah, he wasn't at all what he represented at all, not even close. And I started to pick up on that because they hide it really well. And you got to figure it out. You got to see how their actions compare with their words and stuff and the kinds of things they're saying to you and why would they be saying that? All of a sudden, I was like, shit, because my brother just moved out here to be right next door to me, and I helped make that happen. I thought he was a good person. So I became very alarmed, and then we had a big forest fire, and I moved here to Wichita Falls, right across the street from a firefighter, actually. It was really funny. He was like, well, that's no coincidence. That's pretty crazy. I'm like, I know. So, so then, everything, I loved my house here. I rented a house, absolutely was in love with it. And I set up here to be here for like a long time. Anybody who visited that house was like, oh my God, it's so charming. And it's like this little cottage and it was just precious. I'm a really great decorator. So, if I do say so myself, and everybody said that have been in my homes. So yeah, the place was precious, very charming, very, very cute, and I just absolutely loved it. But weird things started to happen in that house. Weird things like my cats coming up with, being sick and things like that, and seeing this white powdery stuff in the cat enclosure that I had built for them. And then finding out that they were deliberately being poisoned. So that sucked because we all enjoyed being out in the back porch and watching and feeding the birds and stuff like that. And then that weird neighbor I just told you guys about was always standing out at the fence line, just standing there with his arms to the side again. That's when I also figured out that it's the society because I was like, okay, they're both doing the same type of thing. And then I started hearing things like a drill and a radio down underneath the bathroom. Just weird stuff started happening. And I was just like, what the heck? Like, this is weird. And my doctor was the one who was picking up on what was going on, like what the things we were getting exposed to and the things that were happening to us and what they were. So I eventually, I left that house. I got rid of almost everything from that house. Um, so so that I could move about freely. And because I knew that I could recover everything later and just get it all again if it's all that important. I don't attach to things. They just you can buy another whole, by the time you go shopping again in a year or two to buy a new house or whatever, you're going to get a whole different set of dishes that we always want to replace and get new things anyway and decorate all different. And I don't know about you guys, but I like to change it up anyway. So I was like, well, maybe I won't even want a Vitamix anymore. Maybe I won't even want a KitchenAid thing anymore or whatever. So I let go of all of it, which is part of God's plan was to, and I think a lot of the chosen ones or the prophets have been put through a similar process to this is like, can you let go of everything and have the faith and just follow me? And just, I'm going to take you through a process right now. It's going to be a little scary. I'm going to take you through like a haunted house, but you're going to be safe. You'll be holding my hand, which I call being present. Holding hands with God is being present. So he's like, is reassuring me I'm taking you down a good path. I'm leading you somewhere good, And of course, I was telling you guys everything I was discovering. I was a completely open book. And um, then I come to realize that with people like me, maybe some of you even, the ones that are like prophets or chosen ones, people have known about us and about this job we have and our mission for our whole lives. Probably all of us, I would think. They've probably had us identified for quite a while. When I say they, I don't know who that would be. I don't know. Secret, I don't know how they know that stuff. I'm not claiming to know any of that. I just through God teaches me and shows me things over a period of time, and he confirms and confirms and confirms through synchronicities and readings and all kinds of things. Okay, so I get my information from so many different sources in different ways, and then can look more and more and more confirmation all the time about things. So it's like we really are living in the Truman Show. So they somehow figured out that I have some kind of a destiny to fulfill. I have no freaking clue what that would possibly be. I really don't. Everybody, of course, I'm very psychic and very intuitive, but some of these things I was told if I were to tell you, you'd be scared and overwhelmed, and then you won't do your job properly. So I need you to kind of learn the tools and things as you go, build the muscles, and then by the time we throw you out there, you got all the muscles you need and all the tools you need, right? And then I just have to step out of my ego and just operate, just do what I'm supposed to do, right? So I've never known what that is. But apparently, a lot of people have wanted their hands in it, have wanted to take that from me. They know somehow that I'm on some kind of a mission and they're jealous and they want it for themselves. So I have been given all these bits and pieces, including people like family members possibly knowing about it, not telling me that I inherited a house or land or money or whatever, and them going ahead and kind of grabbing it from me and spending it. And when these things, you're kind of like, when things start to make sense and click, you're like, oh my God, that makes sense because I have such a weird relationship with my dad and my stepmom. All I know is my stepmom's very jealous of me. That's all I've been told. And she always has to listen to every conversation, always on speakerphone. My brother complains about it too. So that has always been like, okay, obviously there's distrust there. Obviously there's some kind of an issue there. But I would hardly barely ever talk to them. And when I did, it was so superficial. Like it's just about all the places they go and all the things that they do, but never including me, never inviting me. I've been down and out and broke, and like the most I got was $20, maybe $100, possibly like one time, maybe, but usually about $20. Yet they're paying for like my stepmom's grandson or whatever, paying for his education and his rent and all kinds of things. Like, I've never been helped by them. My dad's always like, well, you always seem to find out a way. I know you can do it. He's always like cheered me on, but it's like, I know you can do it. You always do. You always have. So I've always felt like completely, totally, completely alone. Um, anyway, so these things that are kind of coming together are like, oh my gosh, is this true? Because I've heard so many different readers say, they took land from you or they took the inheritance from you or something. So I don't know if that's happened. My dad was very, very miserly. He never spent anything. He kept the house freezing cold all the time. I remember that he was grabbing every penny he could, um, and making it miserable for the rest of us. 3-minute showers and freezing cold house all the time. Um, so does that mean that they stole? I have no idea. I'm not even claiming that they did. I'm saying that for those of us who are going through this unique awakening of us being somehow special to God, we didn't know. I mean, I don't know if other people knew sooner than I did, but I didn't necessarily want it. And especially if I would have known what I was about to go through. Hell no. Why he didn't tell me? Except, I mean, he said, I want you to tell your audience even, because I wasn't going to tell you guys when he told me I was a prophet. I don't know. I wasn't going to tell you that. I was going to make me look crazy. No, thank you. I don't want, I'm smart enough to know that that's not something that you say lightly. So I didn't even say it until I knew for sure that's definitely a clear point he wanted me to make and say to you guys. Okay. So then, I mean, that was really crazy because like, if you guys looked at the reading from last night that I just posted, it talked about again, it reiterated that they've been plotting against me my whole life and all this stuff. And then you know how I've been reported as some kind of a terrorist threat. So funny. That's gonna go down in history as the thing I laugh about most of my life. Like it's so funny. So, and my parents, they don't know me at all. They've never even tried to get to know me. They never have ever even asked who I am, what I'm interested in, what I like. Like, they know nothing about me. They may as well be complete strangers. My dad was never home, and my stepmom was so jealous she couldn't stand to be anywhere around me and developed no relationship with me. So my parents know absolutely nothing, nothing. And when I've tried to tell them, hey, this is who I am, my name's Amy, by the way, it's like they gloss over. So it makes sense too that they were scheming or something because they didn't want to get close to their victim or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying I'm trying to figure my life out right now because everything is so fucking weird. So, and I'm just thinking out loud with you guys, just surmising. But apparently, they possibly could have set me up to go to the mental hospital years ago. And were trying to set me up recently. Remember that actually happened. They almost did. They almost got away with it for a minute. They were trying to frame me to go there, right? And then, there was some kind of setup to possibly go to jail. Like a few times they called the cops on me and stuff, right? When I say they, it's the Satanists, right? And my dad is a part of the Masons. And he said he did it for golfing. He loves golf. He did it to join that particular golf club. And I was just like, I don't know, I don't know. So, all these things start coming together and you're just like, oh my gosh. So anyway, though, at the end of the reading, if I wouldn't have watched it to the very, very end, which God kept telling me, there's more. At the very end, she said, your parents reported you as a terrorist threat. And that's when my jaw just dropped. And I was like, that means that all that stuff they said prior in that reading pertains to me too. It made me really kind of sit up and go, oh my God, like there's so much more to my whole life and everybody in it, like the Truman Show, that I had no freaking clue about. So I'm not claiming to know why they would do that. Apparently, possibly they've been living off of my money that they've stolen from me or something that they've taken for many years, which would make sense because they're always on vacation, always on vacation. Um, and yeah, I don't know. But like I said, hey, I apologize if I'm saying this and it ends up being wrong. I am totally sorry. I never want to lie about anybody, and I never want to get anybody in any kind of trouble or anything. I really don't. What I'm saying is that this is the time of the Great Awakening, and things are getting exposed in every way, shape, and form, and every kind of nook and cranny and corner of everything, everywhere, with everybody. It's a supernatural, really shocking thing. You know, I never ever would have thought something like that. I just thought that they were really fucking clueless and just really superficial. That's all I thought. I never thought anything sinister or bad of them until that reading like last night. And all of a sudden I was remembering all those other readings we're talking about stuff where I kind of dismissed it because I didn't think, no, you know. I'm just saying it's a possibility and will I have anything to do with them? Hell no. I already cut them out. I cut my parents and my brother out a while ago, pretty much just after I moved here, because I realized that they were just either completely fake, they didn't even get me or know me, or they didn't like me at all. And why would I want to have anything to do with people like that? So, and I'm not saying anything. Again, this is for entertainment purposes. You can't put me in a crazy house because saying that I'm crazy saying all this stuff because I'm just thinking out loud. I'm just making stuff up, just putting pieces together possibly. And I know a lot of you watching are going through like a similar realization with your own families or have already. Maybe you were ahead of me. Some of you've known even longer that there were all these plots against you and stuff, but then I went from that cute little cottage house, this perfect little fairy tale. I thought, oh, I might stay here for quite a while. I might get really comfortable and it might be really nice. Well, I got chased out of there because of all the poisoning and everything, and the weirdo standing there staring at me, which is why I was so mad at him too. When I made that, I was like, you know what? You know what? I'm gonna go intimidate you a little bit. I'm gonna go like drive by and honk in front of your place and let you know I see you. These guys shouldn't get away with what they've been doing. Anyway, so then I go stay in a hotel. Um, and there are some humanitarian projects and some investments I was telling you guys about for a long time that I know are going to pay off. So everybody who's listened to my advice are in the same boat as I am. And I didn't think it was going to be anything special or anything having to do with any kind of a destiny or any kind of like that I was going to do. I was like, I don't know, have any idea what I'm going to do with it. I just want to help with in this area or that area, but it's always been vague. It's like I don't have this big plan as to what my dream is and what I'm going to do. It's all very like I don't have a clue, and I have to see like what that all, our world is going to change so much, so dramatically that I don't even know if I would want this or that or the other thing or where I'd want to live. I have no clue. So these people are like wanting to steal my destiny. I'm like, well, I don't, why? I don't even have like a dream. There's nothing that I'm even reaching for. There's nothing I'm even planning to do necessarily. except very vague. So this whole thing is like preposterous to me. Like, why would somebody, and what do they think I'm going to have? And what do they think I'm going to do with it? And I don't know. It's weird. But so I've been just kind of putting the clues together with the things that God's been showing me, a lot of readings and a lot of other synchronicities and confirmations and things, like I said. Um, and directly telling me and the God cards I have and stuff. So yeah, I went to the hotel, and that was the first time I had one of these direct energy weapons on me, and it sounded like a washing machine down below me. And then I started having physical effects, and then I talked to my doctor. He said it's a direct energy weapon, and I said, "What the fuck is that?" Why would somebody be doing that to me? And then he kind of explained what he knew, and he didn't really know a lot either, or why they'd be doing it or anything. And so then I was like, well, that's weird. And then the manager of that hotel was just flat out evil, just evil, and gaslit me and all kinds of things. And I was like, wow, how rude. Like, what a cold-hearted person. So that was my first like slap in the face in terms of like how evil these people are and how bad they don't have a conscience. I mean, they look right at you and they'll just be brutal and horrible like she was. So left the hotel, went to like an Airbnb, had that felt like a haunted house. I had another direct energy weapon under there following me around and stuff. And I had people peeking in the windows and doing really weird stuff that was making me incredibly uncomfortable. So I left there, I fled there. I mean, they say they want you to flee from place to place, but in actuality, I was being directed by God. I went there because God told me there, and I didn't leave until he told me, okay, go. I literally always listen to what God tells me to do, no matter what. So it's never been that they made me flee. It was, I went there for an assignment. I did what I was supposed to, and I stayed and was miserable for a certain period of time until God said, okay, go. Now, that was, I assume, was collecting evidence. I know I've been followed for a long time. My phone is tapped, all of that kind of stuff. That shouldn't be shocking. Everybody knows that too. um, all of us have been monitored for like quite a while. But especially like a public figure like myself, or, if they've known that I'm some kind of chosen one, then, of course they'd follow me throughout my life and see what I'm up to and stuff. So, I went to another Airbnb, even worse, way worse, a million times worse than even the other two places before. So I figured out, all right, so they want to get you broke. They want to get you spending a bunch of money, and they want you to go from place to place to place until you're flat out homeless. They want to chase you out of everywhere so that you lose all of your money and so you lose everything, basically, or even kill you. Obviously, with as many times as they poison me, they obviously want me dead. I mean, that's very clear, very clear. And they put like what do you call it? A completely deadly thing on the handle of my car so that I would grab it. It was like 100% death rate. Like it was like the most deadly thing you can give somebody. And they put it all over. I saw it smeared all over my handle, and I grabbed it before I realized it was there. And it made me sick, but that's it. I got over it really quick because I'm protected. And that's another thing too, is I have been so protected, and I've been trying to tell my audience because people started doing black magic on me and all kinds of things. Now that's where the celebrity came in. I knew him back in Boulder is when that started up. And he knew a lot about me. So he was kind of following my life and stuff. And I think he saw an opportunity in me rather than seeing me as a way, as an angel that had come into his life and was going to help him turn things around. He saw me as an opportunity to also get in on this plot, whatever this plot was about, or who all involved. I don't know. But, so then he and I think his karmic partners and all those got jealous of me and him too, and they started attacking me, and my cats. So I got attacked by everybody in Hollywood, everybody, all these vampire energies and all kinds of succubuses, like everything you could possibly imagine. That was my training. God wanted me to know how to defeat everything. He wanted everything to come at me so I knew what tool to take out and what to use on whatever thing I was facing. So I got to be like a spiritual warrior. I got really, really tough, and I knew to take garlic every day And I knew, there are certain things that you do, and there are certain ways that you protect yourself on a regular basis, and you smudge and you clear your environment and you do all this stuff like on a regular basis to protect yourself. Because the whole world is energetic and spiritual, flat out. If you don't know that, you've been missing out on the whole point of life because it's all spiritual and energetic. So, um, so yeah, so I've been basically been put through like a boot camp or some kind of training to create some kind of spiritual warrior, you know? That's basically what's been going on. And I've been put through a set of very scary circumstances to lead up to this one. I thought this was a relief. I was like, oh my gosh, I can recover from all that other bullshit that just happened. And I was just like, oh, and it was peaceful and quiet for like a couple months. And this nice neighbor, I thought was a nice neighbor, was coming over on a regular basis and helping me with things. And whenever I'd have groceries, she'd come, take them out of the car with me. And yep, the whole way up. And I found her pleasant but very nervous because her leg was always jiggling, and she always looked like she was real, real nervous. She said it's because she has ADHD or something, right? So one day I get a real strong feeling from God, like, do not ever let her in your apartment again. I was like, you're overreacting. Like arguing with God, like that's a good idea. You're overreacting. She's sweet. I was just like, she's fine. The next time she comes in, sure enough, she drops the asbestos on my carpet and poisons us all. That was the last time I'll ever question God telling me something like that. It's like, so, and that's the last time I talked to her. And that's when she started attacking and teaming up with the gal down below. And they started plotting and scheming on, getting some direct energy weapons. Again, lucky me. Again, I started having symptoms. I don't think I even heard the machine or anything. I didn't suspect it at all. But I had a symptom, and I called my doctor. I was like, why is this happening? Maybe I was wheezing or something. I don't remember what it was, but he said, it's a direct energy weapon. I was like, again? And he said, yeah, this is a different one or whatever. So then I started listening, and I was like, oh, I can hear it now. And then she would use a different one, and then a different one, and then a different one. And then she started to use like, she would turn up the volume or turn up the level. So then I would hear what it sounded like louder, and then I could feel the effect of it. So I knew all the different weapons that were being used, how they would affect my body, what they sounded like on low and then on high. And then, I know these weapons very, very well. So, but all of that started happening here, and I was just like, God, right when I thought that things were getting peaceful again, right when I thought, but that's what they want to do, is they want to rob you of your peace. Anything that brings you happiness, peace, or joy, they want to take it all from you. And they wanted to kill me because somehow, if they were to sacrifice me, they could supposedly take my destiny. They'd done it with other people, like singers and actresses and other talented people that had no clue or whatever. They were actually able to kill off these other people and have all the money that was coming to them and all of the fame that was coming to them or whatever it was. That's how they've gotten all their money, is these people, these thieves, steal it from people that they know have money coming to them, or that they know have all these things that they want, that they just want to grab from them and steal from them. So somehow I got targeted, probably because of the celebrity, because I told him a lot. And he always listened to my channel and everything. So, and I was like an open book, So I think that he just like saw an opportunity and was like, I'll just steal her destiny, you know? And then he lied, apparently, from what I understand from all the readings. Again, this is just surmising. He started plotting a bunch of Hollywood people against me, or a bunch of like voodoo people and all kinds of crazy stuff. He started lying, basically, saying that I wasn't who I said I was, and that I was some kind of scam artist or some other kind of baloney like that. And they all came after me fiercely. I mean, we're talking hundreds, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I had to defend myself against all of them, and I lived through all of them. So then I get here, Little Miss variety of, these weapons. I'm like, seriously? I thought I survived all of that. And then I get here and there's a whole new level. There's a whole new test. There's a whole new, she don't believe any of it. She doesn't think I'm a prophet. She don't believe in God. She don't, nothing. and takes no responsibility. It is completely out of her mind. So I was like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this now? And that's what I started like being in my head about it. And I was just like, okay, well, I need to protect myself. That's the first thing. I got to start what can I protect? What can I use to protect myself against these weapons? Because they were hurting really bad. And I didn't know at the time that they were actually going to be benefiting my body. You know, I I've been learning about God as I've been going along this journey too. I've been learning to trust him. I've been learning to surrender to him. I've been learning how he'll supply for me. He brings money in. He brought donations in. He gave me the idea to do the whole donation thing. He's had people spend, it's all of this like contribute to the whole thing. It's been amazing, like so miraculous. And he's supplied so many answers, and it's to the point now that I know like I'm so confident in my protection now that I don't hardly worry about a thing, you know, because I've seen, like the ambush the other night. He was just like, okay, here's when it's gonna happen, and here's what they're gonna do, blah blah blah. He explained the whole thing to me before it even happened and got me out of there, Or I decided to leave because it made me very uncomfortable. I was like, I don't even want to see what's about to happen. Even if it is a miracle, I don't think so. So, um, I don't know. I don't know. It's so that's the point that I'm at right now is that it got to a certain point, and then I turned very present again. I was reminded, wait a minute, because if they're of this vibration down here and all this hate and jealousy and anger and I want, if they're that bad and they're down there, the best thing I could possibly do is not come down to their level, but climb up as high as I possibly could. And that was so hard to do. When you're being physically attacked like that on a regular basis, it's tough, but I did it. I did it. Every minute of every day, I stayed present. I stayed present. I stayed present. I kept saying, nothing matters. Nothing matters. Nothing matters. And I kept bringing myself back into balance because that's their worst nightmare. You being in balance and you feeling confident and you feeling good about things is their freaking worst nightmare. They want you to be unhealthy. They want you to get in accidents. They want you dead or as close to that as possible. And if you're not, they're freaking out. So they're freaking out right now because I'm actually doing really well. And it improved my health. And even when they found out that it had improved my health in a certain way, like my adrenals were doing well, then they attacked my adrenals. So then I had to defend myself against that attack. And I'm sure whatever I did to defend myself against that has made me even stronger in another area and brought my adrenals back to full function. No matter what they try or no matter what they do, they will never, ever, ever, ever succeed. Because I now know God has proven to me that I am a chosen one. I have no idea what that entails. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I have no idea what's up ahead for me. All these other people have done so many readings on me and stuff. They know everything. I would love to interview them and ask them, like, what is my life going to be like? What am I going to do? What's this big prophecy? I would love to know because everybody in the world seems to know but me. And they all want me dead and they've all been trying, and this whole community that I'm in is just like all Satanists. It's just like a what do you call it? A confined, like a what do they call it? Like it's a controlled environment. It's a controlled satanic environment that I'm in. So they're not all. I mean, I've met some neighbors who aren't, and there are actually some. I believe there are some military that are staying here too, as part of like watching over me too. So it's a mix of all of it. It's a mix of all of it. I even had like at the hotel, and this is I've had a couple of proofs that people are seriously looking out for me. They can't reveal it, but I've caught them, I've seen them. And I found out one guy was my assassin. And I saw a military general or somebody. He looked like he was really in charge. He actually walked right by my assassin and he says, "What are you guys doing here anyway? Why are you staying here?" And they were, "Oh, well, our washing machine broke down weeks ago and we've been having to." He goes, "Uh-huh, huh," something like that. And I caught on to that. I was like, oh, he's confronting my assassin right in front of me. Isn't this interesting? So he knows. So I know there's people looking out for me. Anyway, a lot of them. Like, I mean, Yeah. It really feels like the Truman Show. It's really trippy. And I've learned to like not even care about privacy because I don't have any, you know? So I don't really, I was just like, whatever. But I mean, I've had these guys do so like they do so much stuff with the black magic. They make people feel insecure to call me for a reading. Like they'll be God will try to lead them like you need to get a reading from Amy, she'll really help. And then they'll go to a call and they'll, oh, I've heard she's a scam, or oh, I've heard she's or I feel like insecure about her, or I feel nervous, or I mean, they play with your guys' heads and don't even know. These people, like, they do these seances and all kinds of stuff to make you spend your money a lot, to make you get in situations where you're spending a lot. They make people they put weird energy on you so that people think of you as weird, or they, I mean, it's just like endless. I mean, you guys saw that video I just put out that talked about like all the crimes they committed, and that's just like a little bit. I'm sure they've done so much more than that that I wasn't aware of or didn't catch on to, or I just cleared real quick and it just was gone. But that's all these guys do is they plot and plan and do their seances and do their spells and stuff to try can you imagine living like this, you guys? All people do, all it seems like almost every single person in my life, except for my friends, my closest friends, are all trying to kill me or frame me or set me up. Imagine this. I mean, this has got to be the craziest movie. If this is gonna, I can totally see this being a movie. Like, who does this happen to? And some of you, I felt like the judgment of, wow, if this is happening to you, you must be manifesting it, you know? Like, God, you little judgers. Jeez. Somebody yesterday said, well, you should be coming from a place of love. I'm just like, yeah, okay. You want to go through this situation? I'd be happy to stand outside and say the same thing to you when you're like pissed off because everybody's coming at you. Yeah, I'll stand out there and be like, well, you really should be coming from a place of love. I mean, you can't hear the tone in a comment, but I felt the judgment sometimes from you guys. And I'm like, you guys have no clue what this is like. No fucking clue. It is the hardest thing I've ever been through in my life, but it's made me very strong, very confident, happier, believe it or not, than ever, more grateful for everything than ever. And whatever my dream is that's going to come true, I welcome it with open arms, but I have no freaking clue what it's going to be like or what it looks like or anything, but I'm wide open. I'm open to whatever is coming. But I also know this, none of those people who've been coming after me for my destiny are going to get away with it. There's no way in hell. I'm way too protected. And God wants me to have this job. He made me to do this mission. He made me to do this job. Period. Sorry if that really makes you mad. What if this was you? Put yourself in my shoes. What if you were made for some kind of mission? What if you were made for something to do something great with your life? You have no clue what it is, but everybody wants you dead and has been trying to fuck you up your whole entire life, or set you up or get you put in a mental hospital or whatever they can possibly do to put you behind some kind of bars or contain you somewhere so that you can't have your destiny or have your dreams come true, whatever that's going to be. And you have no clue what that is, but everybody else seems to know. you know, it's got to be the weirdest thing I've ever been through in my. It is the weirdest thing I've ever been through in my life, and I've had a really weird life. I've been through a lot, and now she's pelting me with Big Mama. So, and what do you do with the total lunatic that you can't reason with or even talk to because she's out of her mind and probably on drugs? You know, what do you do? I all I can do is just keep coming back to God and surrendering and being like, "You got this, God." I know there are teams, I know there are people monitoring, and I know you guys all have proof of all of this. I know, and even in that last reading where they talked about what my parents may have done, may or may not have done. I'm not accusing you guys of anything, but you know, I wouldn't be shocked if you were behind bars pretty soon. Just saying. But, they also said something about like how this investigator's been watching me since fall or something. I was like, just fall? I thought it was like that. Well, the military's been watching me for like, I don't know, a couple years, I think, something like that. I don't know about anybody else. I don't really care. I know that my who I used to think was my twin flamer, my masculine's been watching me for like 5 years. And he's really good with computers and playing around with my numbers on YouTube. He's the one responsible for those views, by the way. You can thank him for that because he wiped out my Instagram too. He's good with computers. He's good with computers. Also, my credit score went from like 880, 870, 880 to like 500 something. So, I mean, that reading did imply that he had a lot to do with that credit score going down. I don't know. I don't know. Again, I'm not accusing anybody of everything. I'm just thinking out loud. I'm being like my grandma. My grandma's here with me trying to figure out the murder mystery of a murder that will never happen. Thank God. Thank you, God, so much. Thank you. Thank you. Because I mean, and I'm also here to avenge the people that they did kill. You know? How many people have these people killed to take their destinies and stuff? And how fair is that? I'm here to be the error in the matrix. I'm here to show them God does exist. God is in charge of it all. He knows all of your thoughts, all of your schemes, all of your plans, and he will ruin every single one of them. Every single one of them if you're coming up against me or somebody of my stature or status. I'm not trying to be known as some kind of chosen one. I'm not trying to be known as a prophet because I know you guys have any idea when you say something like that. Number one, you look totally crazy. Everybody doubts you, I'm sure. And well, who does she think she? Yeah, I mean, you set yourself up to like get fucking picked on, okay? And two, my worst nightmare is what's going to happen, absolutely going to happen. All these religious people who I used to be like coming at me, you know, you know, with the pitchforks and stuff. It's a witch or something. I don't know. I'm not a witch. I'm not any kind of witch. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what would classify as a witch. Because I do. I mean, if I'm a witch, I'm a good witch. I know that. And I'm not part of any kind of coven or any kind of group of anybody. I'm a solo, single, intuitive, intelligent, emotional, beautiful, kind, loving woman. That's what I am. So I'm not going to classify myself as any other weird thing that people can read into and categorize and, label me even more than they probably already have. So that's what's going on. That's what's going on is I'm in a situation where I'm being attacked all the time. Even when I decided I'm going to go sleep in my car and try to sleep in my car, they put devices in my car. When I say they, the Satanists, the ones that want me to shut up. They put devices in my car, so I get electrocuted the whole time I'm sleeping, trying to sleep. Um, you know, it's a crazy, crazy time in my life, but I'm also very, very excited because I know all these people are getting exposed, and I know they're not going to get away with this kind of stuff anymore, not anymore. And I know that people behind the scenes are going to get them. And I'm minding my business. I'm not a part of getting them. I've just been wanting them to stop attacking me, and I've been wanting truth to come out as God wants me to speak it. So I literally don't share any video or talk about anything unless God tells me to. Like I said, he controls my mouth. If I'll even have an idea, what if this? And he'll go, no, no, you're trying to control things. Like he'll put the kibosh on it. He let me get really mad yesterday, by the way. And then I got that reading as confirmation afterwards that I was supposed to get mad so that investigator takes me seriously. You know what I mean? It's all like supposed to be the way it is. There's nothing ever going wrong. Everything's lining up perfectly. And all things work together for good. So these guys are just going to be incredibly disappointed right now. They're really pissed off, especially the one down below, because she's spent a lot. All these guys have spent so much money to take my destiny. I don't even know what that means. It seems so stupid to me, but they've gotten away with it so many times before, you know, just like their love spells, you know, they've been successful for a while, so they're really pissed off that it's not working. So, I'm going to keep telling my truth, whatever God wants me to share. Some of you think that I have some kind of secrets that I'm not telling, and I don't think I do, unless it accidentally comes flying out of my mouth or something. I'm not I'm not purposely holding something back, waiting to like lower the big boom or something. If I do, then it, like I said, it'll just come flying out of my mouth and I didn't even know that I said it. Seriously, you guys, like you guys read far more into this. Um, yeah, I just don't want to get attacked anymore. I mean, I'm happy to let God take care of all of it. Just like I'll mind my business and go back to doing whatever I do. But if God tells me, hey, if I'm watching a reading or something and he's like, yeah, you need to put that out, then it's probably for the, but not only helping people follow along with my story as to what's going on behind the scenes, but it's also probably something that benefits you guys to where you're like, oh my gosh, could my own parents be doing this? Oh my gosh, do I maybe have some land that they stole from me or that, like, yeah. I mean, I know that there's a really weird death that happened in my family, and I've always thought that was really suspicious. And truly, if my parents are evil or are as bad as I think they might be possibly now, then it's possible they were involved in that too. I don't know. I don't know. You guys, I don't know. I'm not holding the information back. I'm just guessing. I'm totally guessing and surmising. I could be totally wrong. And again, I apologize from the bottom of my heart. I'm publicly apologizing if I'm wrong. If you guys are sweet, innocent, kind-loving people and I had you wrong, I would be even happy to make another video and just apologize so much for being wrong about you. But if I'm right about you, then I guess we'll find out. I'm not going to do anything about it. I don't have any proof of anything. I don't have, I just have the readings that God gives me and other signs and things that he gives me. That's all I got to go on. But so I just wanted to share with you guys how crazy my life is right now and that I'm just learning total surrender to God, just letting him handle everything and my spirit crew and my grandma murder mystery pro. And yeah, so that's why my channel turned from like giving all this wonderful advice every week and giving, doing that Ask Amy's. If you guys want to see what I was like just before all this nightmare happened, go back and watch the Ask Amy videos. Just scroll back and look for the leopard seat that I was sitting in. I was sitting in a leopard seat. I had the same like background that, and then I had some plants and stuff. So go look for those videos and you'll see that was at my most comfortable here in Wichita Falls. I was really enjoying making those every week for you guys. That was really fun. And it's just, like I said, I loved my life in that house. I loved it so much. Um, but that's all fallen to shit, which is fine because it was all meant to be just as exactly as it is. And like I said, I have no idea what's going to go on and going forward and all that kind of stuff. All I know is that God's leading me and I'm going to do what he says. And that's all I know. And I know that what he wants for me is ultimately what will make me the happiest. I know that too. So even if it's something I've never heard of, if I go to Africa and care for elephants, even though it's something totally outside my comfort zone and totally something that I wouldn't ever think that I would ever do or something, I mean, maybe on vacation or something, but you know what I mean? I mean, I'm so open. I'm so open to anything and something that I never would have even thought of or anything, even something incredibly uncomfortable. I don't care as long as it resonates with goodness and doing right by people, helping people somehow. And if God's telling me to do it, then I'm on it. And at this point, I'm not even thinking about love. Like I used to be all about love, like you guys know. Um, I don't really care because so many people have tried to deceive me and come into my life and try to act like some kind of romantic interest just to screw me over. I'm not jaded either though. I mean, honestly, if I met a really kind, sincere person, and I felt it out and I felt like he was being genuine, oh, I'd be all about it. I'd be all about it. And I'm a very loyal partner and obviously a very fierce mother. I would make it. This is the first time in my life I've even thought of having kids. So, and we're going to get younger. We're going to get fully revitalized. We're going to reverse all of the damage done to our bodies. We're going to, I mean, it's going to be pretty miraculous with these med beds that are coming too. I'm so excited about so many things coming in the future, you guys. It's going to be amazing. And you know what's crazy is that all these bad people, I mean, they were there for a reason. They were there on purpose. They could even be like, what do they call them? Non-playable characters, like I mean, who knows? Maybe they're just programs running as for our training, I don't know. I would entertain anything right now. It's not preposterous to me anymore. Um, but if what was I going to say about that? That I don't. Oh, but it's a shame that they would have to steal from other people like that because the times we have coming are going to be so abundant. Nobody's going to be left out. Everybody's going to have so much money. If they would have just had a positive attitude or if they would have believed this cool stuff was going to be happening in these days, like if they would have woken up to the truth, if they would have, because I know some people have known for like 20, 30 years that we're going to come into this time of prosperity and everybody's going to have a ton of money. Everybody's going to have like, it's going to be like everybody's healed. Everybody's got money. There's not going to be a need for anything. It's like God is going to be everybody's sugar daddy, everybody, not anybody special like me or anything. The chosen ones are only people who are like leading the leaders. We're just showing the way and how it's done with authenticity. That's all. Authenticity and truth. That's what we're doing. Even if we look crazy, we're telling our truth as we know it. And I'm always willing to admit if I'm wrong. Always. I wouldn't say something if I wasn't willing to take it back if it ended up not being true. So it's not like I'm in some kind of delusion or something. If something turned out not to be true, I'd come back on here and I'd be like, I guess it wasn't true. Sorry, please forgive me. I'm just talking out loud, like I said. So you can call me crazy or call me whatever you want to, but I'm speaking my truth as I know it. I'm speaking my truth as I know it. I'm speaking my opinions. I'm speaking just whatever. It doesn't, So anyway, since I don't, yeah, I don't know anything, and I don't know. I would just like to not be abused anymore. I don't want these weapons on me anymore. I'm fed up with it. I'm tired of it. I want these guys to be caught just so that they don't do this to me or anybody else ever again. But they may not be caught. They may not. I don't know. They may get away with it. I don't think so, though. I think we're in the time of the awakening. And I think that, anything from what their readers have been saying, everything being done to the chosen ones, these people are really going to be getting their karma very soon. If it's not, I think it's already happening to them, but it's going to really start raining and storming even worse. So, yeah, I just want it to stop and I just want to get back to just being peaceful and minding my own business and having them go mind their own business. I know they've lost a lot of money, which is why they're being so damn stubborn, probably. I'm sorry you lost all that money, but you were the idiot that believed it. You got duped, you fell for it. You listened to my so-called ex, you in my karmic twin flame or whatever you want to put that label on him or whatever. It, he made something up. You guys all believed it. You guys all went along with it. And then you all believed her when she believed him. And the whole thing is just all based on lies and stuff. If you want to know the truth, ask me. You want to interview me? Ask me. Ask me questions. I'll tell you whatever I know, which isn't a lot because I seem to be the only clueless one in this whole thing. I swear everybody knows everything about my life but me. So I just want us all to have a really happy future, and I know we will. And like I said, I'm very excited about what's to come, even though I have no fucking clue what it's going to look like. I know that it's going to be fair, and I know it's going to be just, and I know that every bad thing is going to be exposed. I really believe that. And yeah, That's pretty much it. Don't want to just babble just to babble. So sending you guys a big, big hug and yeah, I can't. Is there anything else I'm missing? Yes, what? Faith. He wants everybody to have faith. God wants everybody to have faith in him. He wants everybody to believe. And I am his vessel to help everybody believe that he does exist because I'm a walking, talking miracle that I'm even alive with all the attacks. So, and I guess I'm willing to go through whatever else I have to go through to help you guys believe. Because I don't really have a choice. All right. Sorry, I'm not all positive fairy blossoms and unicorns right now while I'm being tortured and tormented every day. But that's just that's just it's just my training. I'm letting you guys in on my personal training time. Okay, so you're in my gym. Okay, so don't be mad at me because I put you in my gym. I did it because God told me to. Number one, also for my protection, so everybody knows what's going on. And so that if I, if I come up messing or anything like that, I originally was thinking, well, if something ever happens to me, they're gonna know exactly who's behind it. They're gonna know who to go to, who to blame, and everything. But now it's more like to help you guys believe. So please take a look. If you're interested in my story, then please, keep on top of the readings. And I'm not trying to put it in your face as bad guys. I'm just letting the audience know and my friends and my viewers and people who've been loyal to me for years. I'm reassuring them it's going to be okay. It's all coming out. You guys are going to be exposed for the crimes you've committed. You're going to be, and I know that's really scary for you guys and you're really angry and you wish I would just shut up and stop. Blah, 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 blah. You just never should have done the bad thing. That's all. You just never should have done the bad thing, and now, as I always say, you can do whatever the hell you want to as long as you can face the consequences of whatever that is. If you want to cheat on your partner, assume that they're going to find out someday and you're going to lose them. If you're okay with that, go ahead and do it then. So in this case, I would say go ahead and steal somebody's destiny or attempt to if you want to. But if you spend, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars doing this and it doesn't work and it blows up in your face and exposes you, are you willing for that to happen? Apparently you were, because here it is, you know? Anyway, I wish everybody well, and I hope everybody becomes a believer as a result of this, for God's sake. And again, it's not for his glory. It's not so that he can be exalted up in a cloud. It's not for anything like that. It's for us to realize our power. It's for us to see what we're capable of as human beings, as God designed us to be, present in the moment, filled with him, doing his will. When we do his will, we fulfill our lives in the most incredible ways possible. We think, oh, if I could just have a farm one day in a vegetable garden or something, I'll be so happy. That'll be my dream, right? That may not be what would make you the happiest. Your dream could be to end up in Antarctica with a garden or something, and yes. But if you never would have, then you never would have thought of that. You would have just gone and gotten a farm and you would have been pretty happy. But God wants us to be like really happy, really, really, really happy. And he's the only one who knows everything we've ever imagined, everything we've ever loved, everything we've ever wanted, everything we've seen in a movie and went, oh, look at that beautiful sunset, or oh, look at that beautiful palm tree, or whatever. Everything we've ever loved has been accumulated in that vortex within us, and God knows all of it. He's spinning it all around like this and going, oh, I can't wait to reveal to you. And it may not look at all like you think it's going to. So the more we can be present and let God fill us and operate us, you're going to have some pretty amazing, incredible, miraculous things happen up ahead. And I'm telling you guys, we have a very, very bright, happy future coming, except for the bad guys who decided to screw over chosen ones. Those are really the only guys that are going to suffer, because the ones that, even bad guys that didn't go through with it, or bad guys that did stuff in the past or whatever, but they didn't ever pick on a chosen one because they were too smart, I mean, even Satan knows you can't go after a chosen one. I mean, that's like totally forbidden. He knows that. He'll let you go for it. He'll let you get duped. He'll let you spend all your money trying to do it, and he'll be laughing. But you know, I mean, even those bad guys who decide to change their ways or that whatever I mean, I'm sure there are probably some of these nefarious people that are going to have a really happy, wonderful, prosperous, abundant life. You know, I think it's totally possible. But you got to do a lot of catching up. You got to get honest. You got to be honest with everybody. You got to be like a totally open book and tell everybody the truth about everything, and not be scared of it that anybody's going to find something out, Like if I had done crimes, if I had done anything wrong, I would be glad to talk about it with you because I would teach you a lesson about it. I would be like, hey, and I've had an affair with a married guy. I mean, I didn't have the affair, but he had the affair with me. In other words, he was married, I was single. Anyway, not that that matters, but I talk about that. I talk about it so you guys learn not to do that. Like it was a stupid ass thing to do, but I'm not going to hide it. Yeah, I'm not going to say, oh, no, I didn't do that. Some of you have been through the bad stuff so that you can help other people not do that anymore or not do that, period, or avoid doing that or say, this is why you don't do it. Because here's how it makes you feel as you go along in life when you're hiding that. Anyway, anything's possible, but I just know that I don't think that we have all those bad things that have been predicted happening. I mean, we have some shifts coming, some shifts like shifts coming. We got some stuff coming, but I really do feel like that. I think it's going to be even way more incredible than we could possibly imagine. So, it's going to be so amazing. So anyway, love you guys. Thank you for watching. Um, thank you for those of you who are watching the readings as well, so that you can see what's going on. And so you can rest assured that I'm going to be just fine. And I can't wait to be on the other side of this, not being pelted with these weapons anymore, and having learned all kinds of great lessons I can share with you guys from it. And um, whatever else is to come. I'm sure there's going to be some amazing things I get to share with you guys in the future, and I'll be all happy and positive and all that kind of stuff that you like again. Right now, I'm living above a person who just absolutely hates my guts and tortures me as much as she can anytime she gets the chance. So I don't get on here and talk on the camera very much because she does not want me to make a living. She doesn't want me making money. And if I were to do the Ask Amy Q&A every week, she would just be pelting me painfully for the whole time I'm doing it. So I don't want to do that. But I'm still doing readings, and I'll sneak off to go do it, or I'll just do it here real quick or whatever. Um, you know. But I really appreciate those of you who are donating, because that's just been so, so helpful to not have to, it just takes some stress out. It's like, here's the money, don't worry about it. And if you want me to pay you back, I'm happy to do that too in the days ahead, because apparently I'm gonna have a ton of money, jeez, that everybody wants their hands in. Oh gosh. So, and if you guys are even thinking about dating me just for that, then I'm gonna see right through it. Trust me. You're not gonna get very far at all. I don't care how cute you are. No, I don't think so. Okay. Talk to you later. Bye.